Well, hello again from a comfortable bed here at the Broken Fiddle Hostel. I am still convalescing, legs feeling markedly better today. Still has some swelling in it though, and I'm still kind of hitting it with ibuprofen and the ice water bath machine thing that Dr. Rick sent up for me. So I'm actually chilled back in the bed right now and letting it ice over for a bit. I wanted to share several different things with you today. One is, I mentioned a few days ago when we were coming into town, we passed the monument to Nick Grindstaff at mile 446. So I did some research online as I promised that I would do, and bless, I've actually had a little bit of time to do some research online. So here's what I found out. The grave of Nick Grindstaff lies atop of Iron Mountain at mile marker 446. It says he was born in 1851 and he passed away in 1923. His marker is inscribed, he lived alone, suffered alone, and died alone. And there's quite a few stories as to why the marker may be inscribed as such. One said that his wife passed away at a young age. Another said that the lady that he was in love with married another man. And still a third story suggests that he may have been beaten and robbed of all of his possessions. But for whatever the reason, he returned to the Iron Mountain area and lived there for 40 years as a hermit. And most of the stories that I've read on this seem to agree that he had a dog that he kept with him for a pet. He had a cow that he used as a pack animal to go down into town every twice a year or so, and that he had a pet rattlesnake. So a little bit of background information on the Grindstaff Monument that I showed you a few days ago. Well, I'm back again. Please forgive my supine position. I'm still kind of chilling with my leg up, trying to get the swelling to go down and to mitigate some of the pain that I'm having in my shin splints, but doing much better. And I appreciate those of you that have sent up good wishes on my behalf. One of the things that I wanted to try to share with you today is a little bit about navigation and how we get around out here on the trail. So I want to tell you about two different things that are almost essentials. They're ubiquitous. Almost every hiker has both of these items, either in electronic form or print form. So the first of these is the AT Guide. So the AT Guide is a print book, but you can also download it as a PDF. It's commonly referred to as the AWOL Guide. The fellow who originally compiled it had a trail name of AWOL. And that's how people refer to it, as the AWOL Guide. And the print version of it, or the PDF version of it, is what we use not so much on a day-to-day basis for navigating the trail, although when I start out the trail in the day, I'll give it a look and it will tell me interesting landmarks or mountaintops or water sources or camping areas that I'll see during the day. And that's kind of what I've used some and looking forward to try to plan out some of my little historical tidbits on the trail. Is, oh yeah, I know this is coming up, so I'll do some Googling, and I've got to get better at that. I told you early on in the videos, it would be kind of hard for me to remember to do that, but I've got another day here in town, I suspect, at least. I hope not to, but I'll do some looking ahead and get some more of the history, because that's what a lot of you have really said that you've enjoyed about the videos. The thing that we really use it for, though, and I've got that planned for this afternoon, is to sort of figure out how are we getting out of town and where are we going to be able to resupply the next time. So right now I'm sitting in Damascus. I probably will not go back and do the 20 or 22 miles or whatever it takes to get back into town, because it's so close to home. I'll come finish up here after we're done with our hike and pack on those last 20 or so miles. So I've got to figure out, where am I going from here? In the guide, it lists all the shelters, it lists campsites, it lists water sources, and pretty much I'll find a place like Damascus, and then I'm going to figure up what's 10 miles from here, what's 12 miles, what's 15 miles from here, where are the shelter areas and where are the campsites located. And as I'm kind of looking ahead at that, I can sort of say, okay, well, this one is 12 miles, or this one is 8 miles or whatever. Probably leaving out of here, I'm going to do shorter miles for sure, till I build some strength back up and get all the healing done. And I can settle on, well, here's that place. I'll go to here tomorrow or tonight. Now what's 10 or 15 miles from there, and so forth. So I really use that AT Guide more for a day-to-day planning of, what are my next 3 or 4 or 5 days going to look like, and where am I going to be able to get into town to resupply my food and have a rest. The other interesting thing about the AT guide is it shows you a little bit about the towns. It has little maps about every 3 or 4 or 5 pages. Whenever you come to a hiker-friendly town, it'll tell you where all the Dollar Generals are, the laundromats, the hostels, the hotels, the restaurants, and those sorts of things. And it's a very handy guide to planning out your hike, a few days at a time. There are people who will sit down with that book and they will go through it with a highlighter and highlight, every place that they want to stay. They'll figure their mileage ahead of time. And we don't do it that way. It's, to plan a 6-month trip out in that much detail with as many things that can go crazy, like having shin splints, it would be difficult at best to stick to such a plan. So we usually plan out at least a week, maybe 2, just to sort of get a sense for where we are and how we're going to move forward. And then I'll come back and show you a little bit about the other guide that we use. So the other guide that we use for day-to-day navigation is the Gut Hook guide, or the Far Out app. It was actually started by a gentleman whose trail name was Gut Hook, but he has kind of taken back his trail name, and the guide, I'm not sure whether he owns any part of it or whether he sold it out, but it's now called Far Out. And Far Out is a free download so far as the app goes, but then you can purchase map segments. The Appalachian Trail is, I think, 10 or 12 segments that you have to purchase for $9 each. The first one goes from Springer Mountain to Standing Bear Farm. We actually are finishing up a map here in Damascus, Standing Bear to Damascus. So we'll start on our 3rd segment of that map. There are other trails. All the long trails in North America are on it. There's some international trails on it. The Mountains to Sea Trail, the Foothills Trail in North Carolina and South Carolina, they're both have maps available. So the neat thing about the Far Out guide is it actually is a map with the trail overlaid, and it's GPS enabled. It'll even work when your phone is in airplane mode. So if you hit the GPS button, it'll put a dot right on the map where you are and show you. It'll tell you the direction that you're aiming. You can look to see, oh wait, am I off trail? I'm on a trail, but is this the Appalachian Trail or whatever? It will actually show you your position relative to the trail. And if you're off the trail, it'll tell you which direction to go to get back on the trail. And that certainly happens from time to time. Another interesting thing that you can do with it is you can plan out your daily hike. So once we've used the AWOL guide to figure out, well, I'm going to go from this shelter to that shelter, or from here to that campsite, or whatever, you can go into the Far Out app and create a route. So you open the app up and you pick your starting location, and then you can move the map around and find where you want to end. You touch a second time, and then you can save the route and call that, whatever day you want to call it. And once you've got the route saved, you can load it up. It will highlight the section of trail that you're on the map. It will show arrows for direction of travel. We're going north. And if you wanted to look at the elevation profile, you can see the elevation profile. And again, you can hit a dot and it will show you exactly where you are on your trip. So you can see, okay, well, I'm 2/3 of the way through my trip. I'm at the bottom of the hill. I've got a climb, I've got a fall, and I've got another climb, and then there's my shelter. So the Far Out app is something that, again, nearly every hiker has that on their phone, and it is useful for navigation on the trail. And in addition to showing the shelters, they show you all the water sources. Once you're on the trail, it will tell you exactly how far away you are from the water source. Is it 3/10 of a mile? Is it a mile and 2/10? Same thing with shelters or all the other landmarks. Once you get into a town, it will list all the amenities in town, and each one of those has a listing in the app, and you can kind of give a look and see where are your laundromats and your hotels and your hostels and your restaurants and those sorts of things. So the Far Out guide is an incredibly useful day-to-day, all day long kind of thing, just checking to see where I am, how much more, excuse me, how much farther do I have to go? Is it uphill? Is it downhill? And in the case of towns, what am I going to see when I get there? Well, this is my first foray out into town. We are staying, turn slowly, in this brown house right up here. That's the Broken Fiddle outfit, our hostel. And we passed the bike station. Here's where Mountain Rogers Outfitters is located. Probably hit that on the way back up just to look around and see what they got. And I'm just kind of taking a walk down to the pharmacy to get a prescription, and just sort of seeing how the leg's feeling. I can see that I feel that it's still there. It's nowhere nearly as painful as it was previously. So I just took it off the ice. So we'll see how it goes, but I think I'm going to be for sure another day here. And hopefully by then it'll be healed up, and with the meds that I have gotten called in, hopefully that'll knock things out pretty quickly. So I'll keep you posted. All right, so this is a treat. I have cooked here at the hostel the last couple of nights, just figuring I could probably make supper, vegetable soup and spaghetti. It doesn't cost much. For several people, cheaper than I could eat out, and I think I was right. And Smokey returned the favor tonight with an awesome steak and vegetables. First steak on the trail, and it is it is absolutely awesome. So this is a view of the common area here at the Broken Fiddle. They've got everything that you need. They've got dartboards, they've got refrigerators, they've got freezers, they've got frozen pizza, they have a hiker box. Ooh, let's look in the hiker box. I've not even looked in the hiker box yet. This is your first experience with a hiker box. So people have gear stuff. I'm gonna have to, yeah, there we go. People have extra stuff or stuff that they've decided that they don't need or whatever. So whenever you come into a town, ooh, there's a raincoat, but it's really heavy. You always want to look at the hiker box and see if there's stuff in there that you need. There's a really heavy pot. There is, I don't know, I guess that's a camp shoe. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's a Halloween decoration. It's a tail from the Halloween party they had here. We've got socks and insoles. We've got, I don't know what that is. Some sort of a belt. There's a base layer, a little piece of a sleeping pad. So if you needed to make a sit pad out of that, that would be awesome for a sit pad. All kinds of things that you find in the hiker boxes. There's a hip belt for a pack. And I'm not seeing anything in here really that I need at all, which is fairly common because usually I've got what I need. I don't have any idea what that is. I don't know. Some dead fuel canisters, some sunscreen, glasses holder. All right, so nothing in here that I need. Close that back up. I know this video is probably all over the place, but if you needed to fix your trekking poles, there's some trekking pole pieces and parts. We've got hiker first aid stuff. Down here, we've got sewing kits and toothbrushes, not a chance. And, oh, there's an ace bandage that I could have used the other day. So a little bit of everything. Boot dryers over here, all kinds of fish and things like that. It's just a really, really neat place here. It's the first time I've stayed at this hostel, and I would recommend it again. They got cornhole boards. We've got a dartboard over here. One of the guy that's managing the place is quite the artist. He's got a couple of murals that he's got over here. He's still working on Bill Murray down here. Storage stuff up here. And this is the outside of the hostel. So Broken Fiddle, great place to stay. Loved it. The guys that are manning the place are awesome. Great guys. The Treehouse, the guy who manages the place, is a Triple Crowner. He's done the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail, and Mountains to Sea Trail, and a whole bunch of others. But those first three make up the Hiker's Triple Crown in North America. So great day here at the hostel. My foot's feeling a lot better. Just talked with my doctor friend. Rick, thank you so very much for all that you've done for me. And I've got some a prescription coming in that'll help continue to alleviate the pain and stress and such about the leg. And it's just been a wonderful time to be here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close things out. I believe day 46 today is where we are. And thank you guys for joining me. I'm still here in my little spot. I have been out of the bed, I promise you. But, you know, I get up for a little while and then I come back and I start working on icing my leg again because I'm really, really wanting it to improve and get better so that I can get hiking here in a day or so and move on from here. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Sorry that today's was so convoluted. I'm sure that it is. It's going to probably be I'm going to probably title this the Frankenstein video. Because there's so many little different bits and pieces that I wanted to, you know, tell you about and show you, but they don't really go together. So anyway, thanks for watching. Tune back in tomorrow and we'll talk to you then.